There are two things that people really want in organizations, Roman. They want to know they belong and they want to know they matter. The three most important words I ever learned in my life and got comfortable with are, I don't know.
Mm.
And if you're in a room and you think you know everything, you're in the wrong room. And the values in an organization are like the banks of a river. They help the river flow from the mountain to the sea. So it gives people freedom to be on the river, permission to be on the river, and it keeps people safe as well.
Hi, I'm Roman Zelenka and welcome to my podcast.
Hey guys, today I am with Garry Ridge. Garry spent more than 2 decades as a chairman and a CEO of the WD40 company that makes this, the most indispensable product on the planet. He is a globally recognized culture-shifting keynote speaker and author of many books. He is also founder of the Learning Moment, consultancy that focuses on company culture, which is also my favorite topic. So Garry, thanks for joining me today.
G'day, Roman. It's really lovely to be with you today, and thank you for inviting me along. I'm so excited about the time that we'll spend together in October.
Yeah, and Garry, maybe mention at the beginning why you are coming here to the Czech Republic in a few weeks. What's your on your plan and why you are doing that?
Yeah, well, why am I doing it is really important, is that I believe that if you can create cultures where people go home happy,
Mhm.
what you're really doing is creating a true benefit to the world, because happy people create happy families create happy communities create a happy world. So it would be right for me to be speaking at the Happiness at Work conference in Prague on October 15th.
Yeah.
And also I'll be with you on the 14th of October at the Leaders of Tomorrow workshop, where we'll be sharing more about culture and coaching and the attributes of great leadership with some of the senior CEOs and leaders in the area on that Monday. So that's why I'm coming, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure we're going to have a great few days together.
Thank you, Garry, and also thank you that you accepted that invitation, because I will be honest with you. I also built a company to a global scale, not that big as you, but for me, focusing on making people happy and then making their families happy, I believe that their work will be more efficient, and we can also contribute to the world. But many people told me that I'm a dreamer. It doesn't work like that. And I'm so glad that you are a true hero for me, that you made it. And so at the beginning, I would like to hear more about your story. If that worked from the beginning, what troubles you had, what failures maybe you were facing on the way, and maybe if you will like to share some tips, tricks, techniques for the leaders listening, it will be really awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Roman. So, there was a famous person by the name of Aristotle. He was born in 384 BC. And Aristotle said, pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. And I read that quote many, many, many years ago, and I said, that makes so much sense. If we could create cultures where people actually enjoyed doing what they're doing, then they would do their best work, and that would build great organizations. I didn't know how to really do that.
Mm.
But soon after becoming the CEO of WD40 Company, I went back to school. I went back to the University of San Diego and I did a master's degree in leadership.
Mhm.
That's where I met my dear friend and my mentor, Dr. Ken Blanchard. Now, some of us, the listeners or people on the podcast today, may know of Ken Blanchard. He is the guru of servant leadership. One of his most famous books he's many books that he has, but one of his most famous books is The 1 Minute Manager that was published
Mhm.
many years ago and still selling. And
Yeah.
I learned the principles of servant leadership. And the principles of servant leadership are pretty simple in that our job as leaders
Mhm.
is to do whatever we can do to help those we have the privilege to lead do their best work.
Mhm.
We're not there to manage people, we're there to coach people. So if you think about a great coach, what does a great coach know? Well, firstly, a great coach knows how to play the game. If you're a great soccer coach, you're going to know how to play the game. A
Mhm.
great coach does not run onto the field and take the ball away from the player.
Yeah.
A great coach spends a lot of time on the sideline observing the play.
Mhm.
A great coach will then coach that player through their experience to play a better game. A great coach never, ever, ever goes to the podium and takes the prize away from the player.
Mhm.
That's for the coach to get. And a great coach spends a lot of time in the stinky locker room. And that's where they learn and build trust with the organization. So as a leader, as someone who wants to build these organizations, you have to be competent. So you have to understand the game that you want to play. And then you have to be a person that's there to help those you coach play their best game. And you have to get your shoes dirty and you have to be with your people and you have to care about your people because there are two things that people really want in organizations, Roman. They
Mhm.
want to know they belong and they want to know they matter.
Mhm. Mhm.
Everybody who's listening to us today has either left a company, a party, an organization, or even a relationship because they didn't feel like and they weren't treated like they belong. And belonging is so important. So organizations, so a lot of people think this happiness thing is soft stuff.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
not. This is hard work because it's not just about pizza parties and happy hours and wine at the bar. It's about you as a leader being totally dedicated to helping those you have the privilege to lead win. And that's what you have to do every day, every day, every day. When I was a young boy back in Australia, which is my homeland,
Mhm.
and I was at school, my science teacher gave me a petri dish. You know what a petri dish is, right? A
Yes.
little
Yes. Yes.
science dish.
Uh-huh.
And the science teacher said, we're going to grow culture in this petri dish. And the science teacher said there are two important things that you have to know. Number one, what are the ingredients you want to put into this petri dish to grow great culture?
Mhm.
And number two, you as the owner of the petri dish have a very important role here. Number one, you need to continually feed the good ingredients so they grow, but you also have to be brave enough to attack the toxins that get into the petri dish so they don't eat the good culture. And
Mhm.
that's the tough part because a lot of leaders protect their own comfort zone at the expense of other people's development. So, culture is something in an organization that you can't sprinkle fairy dust on it, an
Mhm.
organization to change the culture. It takes time, it's got to be deliberate, it's about values, behavior, and consistency.
Mhm. So I understand that for us leaders, it's something like we create that environment for that company culture, for those people who can thrive, who can be motivated. Is that correct? To take care about that environment that it thrives.
Absolutely. I mean, that's our job as a leader is that,
Mhm.
the culture of an organization is a shadow of the leadership.
Mhm.
So we have to set the example. So,
Mhm.
what do we stand for as a leader? What are our values? What is our purpose? Do we have a clearly defined purpose? Are we using our values in our organization to protect people and set them free? So how do we create psychological safety by reducing fear? That's why I developed the learning moment. That people don't particularly like to run through the corridors of organizations yelling at the top of their voice that I'm a failure. But when you think about it, in any organization, we make mistakes every day.
Mhm.
So why don't we turn those mistakes into something positive? So that's why we said, we're not going to make mistakes. We're going to have learning moments. And a learning moment is a positive or negative outcome of any situation that needs to be openly and freely shared to benefit all people. So if
Mhm.
you're doing something and you didn't achieve the outcome you wanted, don't hide it. Share it with people so they don't have that same learning moment. And if you're doing something and you excelled at what you did, share it. So those people in the organization can take advantage of that learning. So we don't make mistakes, we have learning moments.
Yeah, and we need a piece of vulnerability for that as a leaders.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's
Mhm.
why my new book is called Any Dumb Ass Can Do It.
Tell me
And
more.
why I've well, a lot of people think this culture thing is over complex. And I named the book this because if I can lead an organization to create a great culture, anybody can do it. Because I would say I am not the smartest guy in the room. I'm the dumbass. In fact, I call myself now the dean of dumbassery because and that's so important because the three most important words I ever learned in my life and got comfortable with are I don't know.
Mhm.
And if you're in a room and you think you know everything, you're in the wrong room. So as leaders, we've got to be brave enough to say, I don't know. I used to introduce myself when I was in my full-time job like this. G'day, I'm Garry Ridge. I'm the consciously incompetent, probably wrong, and roughly right chairman and CEO of WD40 company, and I need all the help I can get.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, what does that say to the people who have the power to lead? I need you. I need you. I need your I don't need you just to bring your body to the work. I need you to bring your soul, your brain, and your heart
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
that's what's so important.
Yeah, on some podcasts they interviewed me and they asked me what's the holy grail of your success, how you built that company on such a level. And I was thinking, and then I realized I just spend time with my people. I asked them right questions,
Hmm.
and I was with our suppliers, with our colleagues, and also with our clients, and they always had the smartest ideas, the best
Yes,
moments we implemented in the company. That's it. That's so simple. uh,
absolutely.
what was your inspiration? Like, if you look back last 20 years, your where your success comes from.
From the privilege of being able to work with wonderful people.
Mhm.
That's really and to see people develop in the organization and to take on new learning and new responsibilities, and for that to be able to reward them and for that to be able to help them build their families and their future. That's the most rewarding thing. The can is a wonderful can, the product is a wonderful product, but it's the
Mm.
people. There it is, the blue and yellow can with the little red top.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
the
yeah.
it's the people that made it successful. It could just be oil in a can if it
Mm.
wasn't for the wonderful work of the people that, we now market that product in 176 countries around the world.
Wow.
It's truly a global brand, and that can didn't get there by itself. It had to be
Mm.
carried there by some wonderful, wonderful people.
Yeah, not many people know where the name comes from. Why it's that WD-40?
It comes from 39 learning moments. Back in 1953, the company was called Rocket Chemical Company, and there was a challenge with condensation and corrosion in the umbilical cord of the Atlas space rocket. So the product came out of the space industry. So the chemists at Rocket Chemical Company got together and they started to formulate product to see if they could solve the problem.
Mhm.
Number one didn't work. Number two didn't work. Number three didn't work. Number 30 didn't work. Number 35 didn't work. Number 39 didn't work. And fortunately, they didn't give up at 39 because guess what? Number 40 worked. And that's why it's called WD, water displacement 40th formula. Now, I'm pretty happy 39 didn't work because I don't think if we were called WD 39, it would sound as good as WD 40.
That's true. Yeah, 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 absolutely. Okay, you are coming to the conference Happiness at Work. that's the topic we are talking about. And now let's imagine there are some leaders, company owners listening to this podcast, and they are attracted with that idea. They have some company culture, and they want to have it's their vision to have happy people in the company, with happy families. So let's say we are now building for them, we are helping them to build some strategy, how to improve that company culture. And I think you mentioned that in some interview that there are some kickers, things that we can do to improve our company culture, and killers that will slow down the process. Could you mention something very specific from kickers and killers from
Well,
your
the number,
experience?
yeah. And I'm not going to tell everything because I want people to come to the conference and be very, very
Mhm.
informed.
Yeah.
But I think I'll tell you one. It's called ego.
Mhm.
You know, when your ego eats your empathy instead of your empathy eating your ego, it's all about me, not about those that I have the privilege to lead. So a kicker is empathy. A killer is an overactive ego.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's number one. Number two is, um, do you have a true belief that it's not about you, it's about the people that you have the privilege to lead? So a kicker is dedication to the people you lead. A killer is you have all the answers. You're a micromanager. So
Mhm.
there's just two of the things that we'll talk more about on October 15th in Prague.
Nice, nice. I have another question, and because I'm hearing that all the time during my consultations, some leaders, they want to offer people in their company to have pleasure, during their work. But it's like the coins has two sides. What would you advise them? When we create some strategies how to make people happy, what works and what doesn't work.
As I said earlier,
Mhm.
it's not just about, um, you know, ping pong tables, free popcorn, and, a gym in the building.
Mhm.
Leadership is a balance between being tough-minded and tender-hearted. And the genius is in the middle, in the balance. So
Mhm.
as leaders, we've got to get that balance because we've got to be tender-hearted. We've got to show people we care about them. We've got to ask them, how they are, what they're doing. But we've also got to be a little tough-minded sometimes because, we want to protect them from, the things that can happen within the organization. So I think treating people with respect and dignity. Do I
Mhm.
care about my people? Am I candid with my people? I often say candor is no lying, no faking, no hiding. I believe most people don't lie. What they do is they fake and they hide because of fear.
Mhm.
Accountability is important. And then we want people to be responsible. So we want to give them the authority to be responsible. So these are some of the elements that have to be foundational. But the foundations are care, candor, accountability, responsibility.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I agree 100%. That's perfect explanation, and it's very simple.
Mhm.
Okay, then we have another group of people hearing this conversation. They spend all their life, being managers and no interest into leadership. Now they are into this idea. They want to begin that transformation in their companies. What would you tell them? What to start with? What to focus on? What plan maybe to create when they think that they want to be at the beginning of the transformation?
Well, firstly, let me tell you, this is simple. It's not easy, and time is not your friend. And what
Mm.
I mean by that is you can't sprinkle fairy dust on a person or a company and change the culture overnight. It takes
Mm.
time. So, number one, they have to be patient. Number two is they have to be truly dedicated to the fact that they're there to help those in the organization do their best work. Remember what Aristotle said? Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. Now, to do that, the organization has to have a clearly defined purpose. So remember I said, imagine a place where you go to work every day and you make a contribution to something bigger than yourself. So what is the purpose of the organization? And I'll give you the example of WD-40. People might say WD-40's purpose is to stop squeaks or to fix something. That wasn't the purpose that we developed at the company. Our purpose was to create positive, lasting memories. We used to say we're in the memories business, and our purpose statement was we exist to create positive, lasting memories, solving problems in factories, homes, and workshops around the world. We solve problems and we create opportunities. So in the organization, I could say to someone, what memory did you create today? What positive memory did you create? How did our product create that? How did we delight our customers? How did we behave well as a citizen? What did we do to respect Mother Nature and create positive, lasting memories? Are we making sure there's nothing in our product that's going to cause harm and not create positive, lasting memories? So second thing is you need to have a clearly defined purpose. Why do we get up every day? What's our just cause of an organization? Then thirdly, you need to have and develop a hierarchical set of values. And the values in an organization are like the banks of a river. They help the river flow from the mountain to the sea. So it gives people freedom to be on the river, permission to be on the river, and it keeps people safe as well. And those values should be used every day to make decisions in the organization, to empower people so they don't have to go running to whoever the big boss is asking for permission, because that gives people the opportunity to make choices. And if people are making choices, then they know they matter and they know they belong.
Could you mention some values that you have at the WD-40 and why, and how how you can translate it into daily routines?
Yeah, number one value is very clear. We value doing the right thing. And we had a description of what doing the right thing was, which was to be, doing what's right in the organization, in the country we're in. So any time that we were, making a big decision, the first question we ask ourselves, are we doing the right thing? Is this right to do? Is it fair to all people? Is it, the right thing? Our second value was we value creating positive, lasting memories in all of our relationships. So, we could be in tough negotiation, but we didn't have to be in that negotiation with people and not treat them with respect and dignity. So it's, we would always ask, is that creating a positive, lasting memory? In product development, that value was very important because anybody can put anything in a can, but we want to do something more than that. So we'd ask ourselves, how does this new delivery system or this new formulation or this new product, how will it create a positive, lasting memory for the people that are going to buy our product and use it? We had another value is how do we make it better than it is today, which was our way of challenging innovation. And then one of our final value was how do we sustain the WD-40 economy? So we'd question ourselves around, is what we're doing going to build an enduring company over time? Because our role is not only to create a great place to work, but to have a place to work where it can be sustained in good times and in not so good times. Because there's no good having a happy business that isn't able to pay its employees and reward its shareholders.
Yeah, when we talk about values, that reminds me also a story from my company, because we had as one of the values transparent. It's easy, you can have that in the hallway with big letters. But I realized that we have it really when a specific case happened, that we had a project and the customer ordered that project for a specific price. And after 1 week, we discovered we can save 40% from the value of that project. And we could have that extra money for us as a company, or we could be transparent and give the additional discount to that customer. And the project manager, without asking me, he offered that discount straight to the customer. And that was some kind of proof that works in practice.
Yeah. If you can't see values in action, then they're not values. They're just statements.
Yeah. Okay, I have another question because maybe you know that from your consulting life that some leaders they are fighting with trust, that they want to have happy people, they want to give them competencies and responsibilities, but they are fighting with not trusting them 100%. What would you how would you lead that discussion with such a leader, and what triggers, what maybe advices would you give him or her?
Yeah. Well, again, I'm going to refer back to values because if you have a set of lived values in the organization, that becomes your framework of trust because it gives both authority and protection to the owners or the leaders and the people within the organization. So, you know, it's interesting. Brené Brown, you may know of her. She
Yeah.
says, in the absence of facts and data, people make up stories. And if someone is not trusting someone, what are they missing in that relationship? Why are they not trusting someone? Is it because they've left holes in their organization that allow the leader to think people are hiding in that hole? Are they not being candid with people? So again, you know, it comes back to what is the structure in the organization that sets people free and protects them?
I see. Gary, do you could you recommend some resources, or where can people find you, and what maybe resources would you recommend them if they are interested in these topics, leadership, happiness at work, etc.?
Yeah. You can find me. I have a website, www.thelearningmoment.net. I have a page on there with books that I recommend. I have a blog on there that I publish blog articles. I often write articles and publish them on LinkedIn, so you can find me on LinkedIn. Um, so those are probably the two best places. And then my new book, Any Dumbass Can Do It. It's on pre-order now, and it'll be published in March next year. And it's the story of 25 years of learning moments. So I'm hoping that that will make a contribution to leadership.
Nice. So, Gary, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. It was very inspirational. And if any of you out there, if you have questions for me or Gary, let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast to not miss other episodes. So, Gary, thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and I look forward to meeting you in person in a few weeks.
I'm excited. We're looking forward to being in Prague in October at the 10th anniversary of the Happiness at Work conference. So I look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward. Bye-bye.